For years, fans have debated this matchup, but when you really break it down, we're not talking about a duel between equals. We're talking about an execution. The reason is simple. You can't threaten a man who has already lost everything. Now, Maul was a living weapon, a whirlwind of rage forged by Sidious. He was fast, acrobatic, and fueled by pure hatred. But Vader? Vader fought with the cold, crushing weight of a black hole. His hatred was so internalized, it makes Maul's fury look like a flickering candle. So whenever you look at their powers, their mindsets, and their canonical showings, one thing becomes abundantly clear. This battle was never, ever going to be close. Okay, so let's make the case for Maul, because you can't just write him off. He is, without a doubt, one of the most technically gifted and aggressive duelists in the galaxy. This is a guy who was trained from birth by Darth Sidious to be the perfect assassin. His whole style is built around Form VII, Juyo, which is the most vicious and unpredictable lightsaber form there is. It's all about overwhelming your opponent. He moves like a blur, a chaotic storm of attacks from his double-bladed saber designed to break your guard and exhaust you. This is how he beat Qui-Gon Jinn, a master duelist himself. He just applied relentless pressure. Maul's use of the Force is a direct extension of that. It's practical, brutal, and always serving the kill. He uses it to amp up his speed, throw things, and choke people. Everything is offense, and his psychology is just as direct. Ever since Naboo, his entire life has been about revenge. First Kenobi, then Sidious. That rage gives him insane strength and a will to survive that is almost unmatched. So with that incredible speed and a lifetime of skill, how could he lose? The answer isn't in his weakness, but in the overwhelming nature of his opponent. Maul is a blade storm, but Darth Vader is a fortress. But Maul's really big problem is who he'd be facing. This isn't Anakin Skywalker. Anakin was an acrobatic, emotional duelist who might have been a closer match. After Mustafar, Vader had to completely rebuild his fighting style. He ditched the elegant acrobatics and built a hybrid style on the foundation of Form V, Gem So. This form is all about raw power. Vader's style isn't about dodging, it's about overpowering. He blocks and then responds with strikes meant to shatter his opponent's guard, using his cybernetic strength. He's a walking tank. He makes you come to him and just wears you down. Maul's entire strategy of overwhelming a defender with speed just doesn't work as well against a guy who can absorb those hits and fire back with a blow that could disarm him on contact. Vader's armor also gives him a layer of defense against glancing blows that Maul just doesn't have. And then you've got endurance. Vader's suit is a prison of constant pain, but that pain only fuels his connection to the dark side. Maul's rage burns hot and fast. Vader's is a slow, crushing pressure. In a war of attrition, the machine is going to outlast the man, every time. We've broken down their physical styles, but the real gap, the chasm that truly separates them, becomes clear when we look at the Force. If you're enjoying this deep dive, take a moment to subscribe for more Star Wars analysis. This is where the fight goes from a tough matchup to a complete mismatch. While Maul is a powerful Force user, his abilities are almost all martial. He uses the Force as a weapon inside a duel. Vader uses the Force as a weapon that can end the duel before it even starts. We've seen Maul do impressive stuff like pulling a shuttle off a cliff, but then you look at Vader. In the Obi-Wan Kenobi series, we saw him stop a large transport ship as it was taking off, drag it back to the ground, and start tearing its hull apart with the Force. And yeah, there are some scans from the comics that show him doing things on a scale that just seems to be in a different class. This shows a fundamental difference between them. Maul uses the Force to be a better duelist. Vader is a titan of the Force who also happens to be a devastating duelist. In a fight, Vader wouldn't just have to match Maul's speed. He could use the Force to immobilize him, crush him, or just rip the ground out from under his feet. Maul's speed doesn't matter if he can't move. And this brings us back to the main point. Maul's greatest strength, his rage, is also his most predictable weakness. His whole identity is his past, his training, his defeat, his obsession with Kenobi and Sidious. He's fighting to prove he's still relevant. Vader, on the other hand, is his failure. He's internalized that loss so completely, it's now his source of power. There's a famous moment in the Legends comics Star Wars Visionaries that captures this perfectly. Maul asks Vader what he could possibly hate to have such power. Vader's answer is simple: myself. All of Maul's taunts, his rage, his claims to be the true apprentice, it would all be meaningless. How do you threaten a guy who already hates himself more than you ever could? You can't. Vader was only ever psychologically vulnerable to people from his past as Anakin, like Obi-Wan and Ahsoka. Against a rival Darksider like Maul, he's an impenetrable wall of self-loathing and cold fury. Maul needs to break his opponent mentally, and that's a fight he loses before a saber is even ignited. When you look at it, Maul was a relic from a past era. He was a terrifyingly sharp knife, but Darth Vader was the fist of the Empire. He was physically stronger, far more durable, and on another level with the Force. And there are tons of statements that seem to imply Vader's the most powerful being in the galaxy behind Palpatine. So whenever you look at their statements and their showings, one thing becomes clear: Darth Vader is stronger than Darth Maul. This wasn't a duel between rivals. It was a masterclass in the terrifying evolution of the dark side, proving that a raging fire like Maul is nothing compared to the cold, empty void of a true Dark Lord. But what do you think? Could Maul's speed and cunning have found a way to overcome Vader's power? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. And if you want to see more versus battles and deep dives into Star Wars lore, be sure to like this video and subscribe. Thanks for watching.